In this video, we're going to learn how to solve equations with variables on both sides of the equal sign. So you'll notice here that we have these, oops, let me use a different pen here. We have these three steps. And so step one, when you have variables on both sides, is that you want to get those variables on the same side of your equal sign by either adding or subtracting. From there, you want to isolate the term that has the variable. And then finally, you want to isolate the variable to be able to solve. So let's take a look at an example. On number 1, we have 8x minus 7 equals 2x plus 11. You'll notice here that when I say we have variables on both sides of our equal sign, you'll see that I mean exactly that. If I'm looking at this equation as the left side and the right side, I have variables on both sides. Your first step is to always get your variables on the same side. Now there's lots of different ways that you can do this. You could either move the 8x over here, and to move the 8x over here, you would have to subtract it because this 8x is positive. Or you could move this 2x over to this side. To move this 2x over to this side, you would have to subtract it because this 2x is positive. I'm going to choose to move this 2x over to this side. So, because my 2x is positive, I'm going to subtract it on both sides. Notice how I've lined up my x's because x's are like terms. Here, my 7 doesn't have a like term. My x's are lined up because those are like terms. Here, my 11 doesn't have a like term. There's nothing there. So, 8x minus 2x is 6x. I'm going to bring down that negative 7 in my equal sign. 2x minus 2x is 0. I'm going to bring down my 11. Now I only have one term with a variable. So now I want to get that term with the variable by itself. I'm subtracting 7 from 6x. To undo subtraction, I'm going to do addition. So I'm going to bring down my 6x. Negative 7 plus 7 is 0. I'm going to bring down my equal sign. 11 plus 7 is 18. I want to get x alone. X is being multiplied by 6. To undo multiplication, I'm going to do division. 6 divided by 6 is 1. That's just going to leave me with 1x. 18 divided by 6 is 3. So the answer that we have found is x equals 3. Let me go ahead and check that solution. The original problem was 8x minus 7 equals 2x plus 11. What we are going to do is everywhere we see an x, we're going to replace that x with the answer of 3. From here, we're checking to see if the left side of the equation equals the right side of the equation. 8 times 3 is 24. I'm going to bring down my negative 7. 2 times 3 is 6. I'm going to bring down the 11. 24 minus 7 is 17. 6 plus 11 is 17. Does 17 equal 17? Yes. So we have solved this correctly. 3 is the answer. Let's try another one. On number 2, we have 10x plus 5 equals negative 15 minus 10x. You'll notice, that I have x's on both sides of my equal sign. Meaning that if I split this into two parts, I have a term with a variable on both sides. I want to get these terms on the same side. You could either choose to subtract this 10x and bring it over here, or you could choose to add this 10x and bring it over here. And that's what I'm going to choose to do. This 10x is negative, so to move it to the other side, I will have to add it. 10x plus 10x is 20x. Again, notice how I've lined up those x's. I've lined up those like terms. I'm going to bring down my plus 5 and my equal sign. I'm going to bring down my negative 15. Negative 10x plus 10x is 0. Now my equation is 20x plus 5 equals negative 15. I want to get 20x alone. So I need to move this 5 to the other side of my equation. How do I undo addition? Subtraction. Again, notice how I've lined up my like terms. These are like terms because they are constants, meaning they are numbers and they don't have any variables attached to them. So I'm going to bring down my 20x. 5 minus 5 is 0. I'm going to bring down my equal sign. Negative 15 minus 5 is negative 20. I want to get x alone. X is being multiplied by 20. How do we undo multiplication? Division. I'm going to divide both sides by 20. 20 divided by 20 is 1, which just leaves me with 1x. Negative 20 divided by 20 is negative 1. So my answer is negative 1. I'm going to go ahead and check my work. Every time I see an x in my original equation, I'm going to replace that with the solution that I found, which was negative 1. From here, I'm going to use the order of operations. 10 times negative 1 is negative 10. Bring down my plus 5, my equal sign, my negative 15. Negative 10 times 1 is positive 10. Negative 10 plus 5 is negative 5. Negative 15 plus 10 is negative 5. Negative 5 equals negative 5. I have solved correctly, so negative 1 is the answer. Let's go ahead and look at number 3. On number 3, I see that I have x's on both sides of my equal sign. And so I'm going to move them to get them on the same side. You could either choose to move this negative 3x to this side. To do that, you would have to add 3x to both sides. Or you could choose to move this 6x to the other side. This 6x is positive, so to move it to the other side, I will need to subtract it. And that's exactly what I'm going to choose to do. Again, notice how I've lined up my x's. Negative 3x minus 6x is negative 9x. I'm going to bring down my positive 8 and my equal sign. 6x minus 6x is 0. And I'm going to bring down my negative 1. Now I only have one term with a variable. I want to get that term alone. I need to move this 8 to the other side. How do we undo addition? Subtraction. And so I'll bring down my negative 9x. 8 minus 8 is 0. I'll bring down my equal sign. Negative 1 minus 8 is negative 9. I want to isolate my variable. Right now my variable is being multiplied by negative 9. To undo multiplication, I'll do division. Negative 9 divided by negative 9 is 1, so that just leaves me with 1x. Negative 9 divided by negative 9 is 1. Let's check that solution. Every time I see an x in my original equation, I'm going to replace that x with our answer of 1. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3. I'm going to bring down that plus 8 in my equal sign. 6 times 1 is 6. I'm going to bring down that negative 1. Negative 3 plus 8 is 5. Bring down my equal sign. 6 minus 1 is 5. 5 equals 5. We have solved this equation correctly. 1 is the solution.